A lot of people are confused about which is best, B2B sales or B2C sales. In this video, I'll break down both of them and let you know from my personal experience with both which is best. So let's get into my experience in the B2B and the B2C world. And at the end, I'll share with you a bonus tip on how you can position yourself better in either scenario you find yourself in. So my first job in sales was at an athletic foot store shop called Just for Feet. I don't know if you heard of it, but I was selling shoes, and I hated that job because one, I had to wait for people to come to me, so I was an order taker, and I really wanted to be a hunter or a wolf. I wanted to go get it. I wanted to eat what I killed, and so I would have to wait for people to come into the store if I wanted to make a sale. Secondly, it wasn't leveraged. I had to physically be there. I was trading my time for money. And lastly, there was no margin. I had a salary which was weak. I had a bonus structure which was weak. So basically, it sucked altogether. The second one was another B2C model, but it was a little bit better. It was a company called College Works Painting. And what I would do is go around my neighborhood, knock on doors, and see if people wanted their houses painted. It was actually a good business model because it taps into the psychological reciprocity where most people want to help college students because they believe they're helping themselves. So I had really good receptivity. People liked talking to me, but again, it wasn't leveraged. I had to physically be there, even though I wouldn't do a lot of the door knocking because I'd hired that out to high school students. I still had to be there for the pitch, for the proposal, make sure my guys showed up at the job sites, make sure there was no problems. The other problem with that is a lot of people in the BC world are very attached to their stuff, and they get very clingy to how things turn out with their house. So they would be kind of always stressed out and always worried about, is the paint the right color? Is there gonna be anything spilled? It was just a little bit too much attachment, so it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun process. The other problem also was I wasn't pitching typically to the right person because I would pitch to the husband. He would say, oh, I got to check with my wife. Or I'd pitch to the wife and she would say, oh, I got to check with my husband. Even though I told them before I present, make sure both decision makers are there, it just, again, wasn't leverage. I was trading my time for money. Now, the good thing about that business model, it did have good margins. I would sell a job for 10 grand and it only cost me maybe $2,000 to do it. So very good margins there. After I had those two experiences in the B2C world, I switched over to B2B sales, and I've been there ever since. And I first started in selling money, basically. I would broker loans to businesses so they could buy equipment to run their business. And the beautiful thing about this business model is, A, it's leveraged. I don't physically have to be there. All documents are signed digitally. I can talk to people over the phone and answer emails. So I can do it from pretty much anywhere. Secondly, extremely lucrative, very high margins. And lastly, it's so leveraged because I don't physically have to do the selling myself. I have my partners bring me the deals. So I literally have all my time back and make more money. So in my personal opinion, B2B is the way to go. B2C, I don't know. If you want to waste your time, have fun. Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me in the comments if there's an awesome B2C business model that you know of, but not my cup of tea. So I know I promised you this bonus, and I do appreciate you subscribing and smashing that thumbs up for the algorithm. So the bonus is positioning and how you want to position yourself. At the beginning of my career, I would position myself lower than the prospect. So I was putting the prospect on a pedestal. I was calling medical doctors to see if they needed loans for their businesses, and I was treating them like they're a royalty. And so it just put off a bad vibe. And then later in my career, I was treating them less than, like I was higher than them. I was more important than them. Like, how dare they call me? Now I got to return their call. What do they want? Instead of trying to actually help them. So the key is to try to position yourself as an equal. They're not better than you. You're not better than them. You guys are equal peers trying to find solutions. And so, because when you're lower, you sound like you're desperate and you sound clingy. And when you're higher than them in your mind, you sound like an asshole. So you don't want to be that. You want to be curious so you can have questions and you want to actually understand their situation and make them almost feel like they're crazy. Once you dissect their situation, they're crazy not to work with you. And then be disattached to the result and the decision they actually come up with. And that's how you position yourself. Being equal, be curious, but be disattached to the result, because you know they're crazy if they don't work with you. So if you are having trouble with your sales, please download that free sales script template I have for you. It's very simple. One statement, 3 questions. They'll start talking to you and they won't even know you're selling to them. I'll see you in the next video.